Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo. It's a weekly interview show where we talk with interesting people in the community. And today with me is Jayne Gerren, who is a real estate agent. Jayne, I'm going to talk a lot about that, but first tell us how you got interested in that and how long you've been doing that.
Okay, I got into it about 3 years ago, actually March, it'll be 3 years in March. I always wanted to do it, just never had that opportunity to. I worked full-time during the day. You have to take a lot of classes and you have to study. I had children, baseball, basketball going on, so I didn't have enough time to really do it. Now that I'm empty nester, I can do that. So I decided to go back and go to school and get my license, and I did.
Okay.
So
And prior to that, you worked for the county newspaper, the Star Beacon.
I did.
And you were in advertising there.
Yes.
Is there any
advertising.
similarities to that, to what you're doing now?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. You have to, it's sales, so sales is sales. The community is very important, interacting with people, time management. So yeah, I learned a lot during that time, and to get me to where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How many
absolutely.
years were you at the Beacon?
Oh gosh, 28
Wow,
years.
that long.
Yeah, 28 years.
So a very good career there.
I started in the classified department, so it was a great job. I loved it.
Did you find it tough at times?
Yes.
Were there better times than,
Oh yeah.
more better times than not good times in this
oh,
community? Or the county, actually?
I think it was always good. It really was. I mean, we just, I did Conneaut. I worked in the Conneaut area for probably about 14 years. 14 years. And I just made so many friends, and my customers became my very good friends, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it.
But you just decided you wanted to change, and
Yes, I wanted to change.
real estate was the first thing on your mind. Was there anything else on your mind before you chose real estate?
No.
Okay.
Nope, I decided I wanted to take that, move in that direction, so that's what I did.
Good. And talk a little bit about the training you had to go through to become a real estate agent.
Well, we had to go to, I had to take classes, of course, and so I did that on the weekends, and I did Saturday and Sunday for 6 weeks, 10-hour classes. I worked all day during the week, and so I would go home and study. I studied more in that 6 weeks than I did my whole high school career in college.
Wow.
And so I did that. We passed the test, and then you have your license. You get out there and you start marketing. And I work for Berkshire Hathaway, and I have a wonderful broker and a wonderful co-workers. We're just a big team, and everybody in that office helped me, because you don't learn the real stuff in school. You have to be out there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty tough there at first. I was lost, but I caught on.
Mm-hmm.
I did it.
How many agents are there in
Oh gosh.
your agency?
In ours, in Ashtabula, 20 plus maybe, and then we have an office in Jefferson, and there's probably about 10.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, close to 10, I think.
So quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
for Ashtabula
For
County. Do you go into outside of the county, or is it just strictly in Ashtabula County?
I can if I want. I can go through the whole state of Ohio, but I choose to just stay right here in Ashtabula County because I'm familiar with the neighborhoods and with the area, and a couple of times up into Lake County, but
Mm-hmm.
but there's different laws and different county-wise. So I stick around Ashtabula County.
Mm-hmm. How many homes do you think you have sold in the last year?
I know that. I just found that out. 40. I had.
Wow.
I had 40 transactions.
That has to be considered outstanding.
It was
I would
crazy.
think. 40 in
Yeah,
Ashtabula
it's
County
crazy.
for
Yeah,
a year.
yeah, for the year, 40.
Is there a better time of the year to sell homes? Obviously, when you got 10 inches of snow and 15
Yeah, it's a little
degrees, not too
quiet
good.
then. It's a little quiet. Um, I would have to say March, April, May, June, right on through. I stayed busy. Got a little quiet in October, understandable.
Mhm.
It was election. You know, everybody is going back to school, that kind of, but then it picked right back up. So
I
yeah,
read
it
one of
was-
your Facebook postings
Uh-huh.
and saying that in coming into 2017,
Mhm.
it probably would be better to try to buy a home early.
Mhm.
Want to explain that?
Well, uh, right now our inventory is, so to say, or how it's down right now. We don't have a whole bunch of listings. We need those. So right now, a year ago, we could say that it was a buyer's market a year ago because we had a lot of houses for sale. They were selling. Now it's a little different. We don't have as many, so the seller has that advantage. So if you're, wanting to sell your house, you have a good advantage now because competition isn't there.
Sure.
So yeah.
How are your negotiating skills going back and forth between the buyer and the seller?
Say they're pretty good. Sometimes that can be difficult.
I
You
would
have to
think
have
that
a lot
would be
of,
really
you
difficult.
have to have a lot of patience, and depending on who you represent. If you represent a buyer, then of course you're wanting to get the best deal, the best price for that house for them. If you're representing a seller, you want to get the best price. If you're representing both.
Really
you
puts you in a
kinda-
difficult position,
It
doesn't
does, it does. Sometimes you have to just sit back and let them think. That's when you just sit, you can give them advice, but you just sit back and let them think
Mm-hmm.
about it.
So let's say a seller wants to sell, gives you a price of 100,000, and the buyer, the potential buyer, is looking at maybe 84 or 85,000.
Mhm.
Obviously, we're gonna the seller's not gonna get 100, I'm thinking this, and the buyer's not gonna get 84, 85. Who's usually gonna be closer? Are you gonna be closer to the seller's price? I'm just guessing that would be the case, but I don't know.
Now, yeah, today, yeah.
Mhm.
Probably the seller would get a little bit better, or where they want to be. It all depends too. We go through a process where we sit down with a seller and we show them what has sold in the area comparable to their home. And we go through and we look at the updates that they've done. We do some suggesting. So if their home stands out amongst all the others, then they're going to get a little bit more. And then just depending on how bad they want to sell and how bad the buyer, wants that house. So,
Mhm.
so yeah.
What types of homes would you say are selling more than others? I mean, you got your ranches, your Cape Cods, and
Ranch.
all those.
Ranches were hot over the summer. Everybody wanted one.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants those upper level homes anymore.
No, it's hard to get up those stairs. Yeah, but they do want first floor laundry, and they still want a basement.
Mhm.
So that's kind of, sometimes that's a little difficult.
Is that the trend you see all over the county?
Over the summer, I did. I
Mhm.
saw a lot of the women want that first floor laundry off to the kitchen, but yet they still want the basement. But they don't want to go upstairs either. So yeah, ranches were.
And the husband doesn't want to go upstairs either.
No.
When you list a property, what marketing approaches do you use to sell the home?
I do a lot of homework. I go through, again, I look back through 6 months to a year at what has sold in that neighborhood compared to the home. I go in and look at, do they have updated furnace and wiring and flooring, and then we put that all together and we have a little secret now. And then that's how we come up with the number. Usually the comps is, we stay right around what the comparables are saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, see, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, homes, the ranches and the Cape Cods and all those kind of homes. Is there a difference in the county, or is it basically all over? Like, are you selling more homes in the southern portion of the county or up here near the lakeshore communities?
Up here, me personally, up this way. Yeah, I'm Saybrook area, Ashtabula, Conneaut. I sold a couple here in Conneaut. Throughout the summer though, Jefferson, a lot of people wanted Jefferson, Geneva area.
Yeah, Jefferson seems to be a growing community.
Yeah, they
It
want
really does.
land, they want a little bit of land, a little bit, school districts, the smaller community type,
Mhm.
so yeah, a lot of people wanted Jefferson.
Mhm. When someone puts their home up for sale, how long will you keep it on the market? Is there any time limits?
Usually it's about 180 days. We can go, we extend it out if it hasn't sold within that time. Usually on the contract though, we try to do 6 months. Hopefully it sells in 6 months.
Mhm.
So.
Are you allowed to sell a home that's listed under another agency?
Mm-hmm.
You are?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's what our MLS is. We search in there, and everybody all the agents put their listings in that. And that's a multiple listing through, Ashtabula, over through the whole state of Ohio.
Do you get a lot of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. You look at that's something, I read that every morning, every afternoon, every evening. The new listings, the prices that have dropped,
Mhm.
to see if there's something out there that my clients are looking for. So, yeah.
Very interesting information there. I did not know that.
It is very interesting.
I thought I was asking a goofy question, but I guess it wasn't.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
What about commission? How's your commissions work?
That's between the client and an agent, and they come up with a total, a percentage, and then we sell it. That's.
What are some of the things that the buyer and the seller look at when they want to meet on a certain price there? Who's going to give what? Who's going to give into something usually? Like, when it comes to closing cost and all that, sometimes the seller may pick that up.
I think that sometimes that depends on the buyer's financial situation. Maybe they don't have the traditional 20% down. Maybe they're going for a different type of loan, FHA or a USDA loan, where you don't have to have as much money down. So then a lot of times they ask for closing costs to be paid, and if a seller is getting a decent deal on their house, then sometimes they do, or they will pay that. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they say nope, so. It all in the negotiation part.
Yeah, and that's,
So, it all depends on
that can
the
take a while,
situation.
can't it?
Right, so, it just all depends.
so when the buyer gives you a price that they're willing to pay, you take it to the seller,
Yes.
and then the seller will say yes or no, and then if they say no, then that's back to you again, right? To go back to the buyer, and
Yes.
what do you tell the buyer? Do you
Well-
tell them why they're saying no, or
A lot
if
of-
you do
oh,
this,
yeah,
maybe they'll come
absolutely.
down
You want
more?
to explain to them, the seller's situation. This is what they're, they don't want to give up their appliances. They want to keep, they want to keep their appliances, or they don't want to they have to have a certain amount, so they don't want to have to pay out any extra money, because the bottom line, when you pay closing costs, you are taking away from your net. So, so yeah, you go back and you explain the situation, and then we see what their situation is, and then go back. Just did it today. Yeah. back and forth.
That's a 7-day week job, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How about open houses? The seller can't be there when they're having their house for open houses. That
Oh, they can be.
they can be
Oh,
there,
yeah,
but usually
they
they're
can
not.
be. Usually, we don't recommend it. You know, we ask them to go, but a lot of times they will stay.
Mhm.
I've had 1 or 2 stay,
Mhm.
but they're not. They're more active in the summer, spring, and summertime.
Mhm.
The open houses, you know, where
Mhm.
you'll get a little bit of traffic in there.
How much of a benefit is that to have the house, have an open house for it? Is there any benefit to that?
There is. I think if other agents are looking for their clients, they can come in and take a look beforehand. I think that's a good thing to do. I think that it does give the opportunity for people that can't be at a place at a certain time, or you know, maybe they work late, maybe they have a different shift, maybe they can go in for this open house on a Sunday afternoon. It all depends. It all depends. They're not as popular, I don't think, as maybe they used to be.
My guest today and Around the Town with Chuck is Jayne Gerren, or Ashtabula County real estate agent. Jayne, you said you work here in the county, so how important is it for you to know your area and familiarity with the local inventory?
Oh, it's very important. That's why on the MLS constantly and reading I read a lot of articles from the Real Estate Association, Ohio Realtors. My broker sends out reports and stories all the time for us to read. So yeah, you have to be up on it and very familiar with well, thank goodness for GPSs too. We type that in and we know where we're going. You know, because there are some roads that I never knew existed, but I found it.
So you said the spring months are probably the time of the year here in Ashtabula County where homes sell more. Does it slack off in the summer?
Not really, no.
Okay. So probably just during December, January?
Yeah, I think November-ish into December. But there, you know, again, I know everybody. We were all out showing houses and doing, you know, not as busy as the summer, but yeah, I mean, we still are going, you know. So, but there are a couple of days where there's a little downtime.
How well do older homes sell?
They sell. They sell. A lot of people they want that. They want the characteristics of an older home. You know, even the up and down. You know, the stairs, the woodwork, the flooring. Wood flooring is very popular right now. So when you can find an older home with maybe carpet, and that's the first question they ask: is there wood flooring underneath? They want to bring that up and redo it, and so yeah, they sell.
When somebody wants to buy a home and the buyer and the seller are struggling to come up with a price, and let's say the house needs a new roof, the buyer may pay for that, or the seller may pay for that. Do you see that helping out to negotiate a price?
I think sometimes, yes. Yes, sometimes.
Who's more willing to do that, the seller or the buyer, do you think?
I would say the seller should, if they know that has to have a new roof, probably should have a new roof put on before they go to sell. If it's an older roof and there's problems, you know, with water and leaking, it's going to be harder. You're not going to get as much money from for it. No, you'd want to probably try to fix that. But I mean, I've had buyers say, well, it's you know, it probably lasted maybe 5 years, so we're okay, and then they take that on. But I think the prices, you know, will reflect that that way.
Let's see here. If the seller wants, like I said earlier, say they want to sell their house for $100,000, and the buyer's struggling to pay that amount, how eager or how quick does the seller want to sell that house? Does that come into play as far as getting closer to a price? Is the seller really anxious to sell right away, or are they
Well, I
willing to
think
hold out?
that depends on the seller's situation too. You know, you could have a seller that owns a home free and clear and just wants to move and get out. Or they maybe found another home, so they just wanna sell and make it even and move on. And then there's others that say, hey, we've been here for a while and we think our house is worth this, and they stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if it's in a good location and in good condition and priced right, it'll sell, always.
Do you do a lot of discussing with other agents?
Oh yeah, we talk about, yeah.
I mean, do you, like, when I say that, do you ask for advice or do you give advice?
Oh, I ask for advice, daily. There's not a time, I mean, honestly, I always call. If I'm not calling Lois Blank, I call her.
Mm-hmm.
I call Rick, I call Bruce, I call all of them, and they always answer and they always tell me what, you know, if I need this advice or if I need to know what to do.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
No, and I appreciate it. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for all of them. They've
Mm-hmm.
been very good to work with.
Mm-hmm. In this day of technology, we've talked a little bit about communication. When you're negotiating, what tools out there do you use a lot? Communication tools, this technology, the world of technology today. Obviously, you use Facebook.
Oh gosh, social media is right up there. The days of, you know.
The days of the telephone, or
Oh no, we do that too. Telephone. Oh yeah, you definitely are on the phone a lot, calling and following up. But we definitely do a lot of social media. In fact, we have a small group in our agency there that we get together once a month, and we go over all of our social network or social media, how to improve it, how to get better, how to learn how to use Facebook, and because that is where everybody, if you want to find something, whether it be a car or a pair of pants or a house, you're Googling it and you're looking for it, and it's online through the internet.
mm-hmm.
Those days of really kind of looking through magazines or looking through,
They're gone.
They really kind of are. It's
Yeah.
kind of sad.
It
to
is
see
sad.
that, 'cause,
Especially for the
it
older
is.
people that don't really know all this technology yet.
Exactly.
What communication tool would you say works best for you? Of all those that you've mentioned, I know they all work, but is there one in particular you seem to get better results or quicker results?
With the results. Actually, the telephone.
Is that right?
Yeah, if I'm following up,
Texting or actually talking?
talking,
Mm.
calling, following up. If I've talked to somebody in the grocery store and they said they're thinking about selling or they're looking for a house, and I find one, or I think maybe it's a fit, I'll call them. We use social media to get out, branding our name, who we are, what we do, and what we have, our listings. So that's very, very important. I did an ad on social media Saturday, and I had 7,300 people view that ad.
Wow.
In 3-hour time frame. I mean, that just,
Unbelievable.
tell me about it. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's a
In
lot of
3-hour period.
That's a lot of views. And Facebook will flip up, it'll tell you X amount of people have viewed your page in the last 8 hours. It'll tell you who shared it. I can pinpoint where I want the ad to go, the listing to go, whether I want it to go to Pittsburgh or Cleveland, Columbus, or stay right here in the county. You can really, really do a lot with that.
So Jayne, the type of job you got, you really don't have set hours, right? I mean, you could be called out 9 o'clock at night
I
to go
could,
show a house.
but I don't. Not at 9. That's not safe. We have to be safe. Definitely. Yeah, you want to.
But you'll work into the evening sometimes.
Oh, I do a lot
So
of
like in the
paperwork.
summertime when it's light.
Sure. Oh yeah. Oh, in the summertime,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking now, yeah. Oh, absolutely,
So
Yep.
you don't really, so your schedule's kind of inconsistent,
very much.
hours
For me,
wise?
yeah, for me, cause I get up and just go all day long.
Mhm.
I'm used to that. That's one advantage I had because I was working sales and been doing this and that, but, so yeah, 9 o'clock at night, I guess you're right, in the summertime,
Mhm.
yeah, but strolling in.
How about financing skills for you and doing these loans for buyers and stuff? Do you get involved with that, or is it strictly the bank?
That's the bank, I don't, I can refer, somebody to, tell them about some different, loan programs. And I can also tell them, there's 3 or 4 local banks here, or you can get online and do it in 5 minutes at your computer if you want to go with that. I mean, it all depends on what they're looking for.
Mhm.
So, of course, I always tell them local, shop local. You definitely got to do that.
How much paperwork is involved when you do sell the house?
A lot. A lot of paperwork, back and forth, making sure everything is correct, verbiage is correct, names correct, signatures, initials, yeah.
Do you see a lot of
It's a lot.
single buyers versus couples?
About the same,
Mhm.
about the same. Probably more couples, I think.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, this has been very good, Jayne. I appreciate you
you.
coming in,
I appreciate you
giving us a
asking. Thank
little
you.
insight on the real estate business. And do you miss the Star Beacon at all? Go back
I
as a
miss-
substitute?
I miss seeing my customers. I do. I see some people from here and there when I'm in at a restaurant or something. But yeah, seeing them on a consistent, finding out what's going on and keeping up. Lost contact. So.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank
We
you.
wish you the best of
Thank
luck.
you.
And again, thanks for coming on Around the Town with Chuck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Jayne Gerren, my guest this week on Around the Town with Chuck. And next week we'll have Tim Neal, Conneaut High School principal. Have a good night.